Hi, it's Peg, and today on Art Joy Sharing, we were just having some creative play. I'm talking about carving rubber because, yeah, it is December, and that means it is Carve December. And if you use the hashtag Carve December on Instagram, you're going to find all kinds of hand carved stamps and inspiration. So Julie Paypan Balzer has been doing carving for a lot of years, and she has a book out. I have the book. I've read it. Um, I am trying out different types of carving materials, and so I'm just showing the audience, some of the things that I've carved in the past, and how they work, how you can stamp it in different directions, and put pieces together to um, make the whole thing come together as an image. And then these are some quirky little characters that I've carved in the past. I will probably be carving some more quirky characters this month because I like my quirky birds and that sort of thing. But today I'm just going to do a real fast Christmas tree just to show you how it's done. Now, these tools that I'm using are cheap tools from a dollar store. The ones that I'm showing you now are a little more expensive, so if you get into carving and really enjoy carving, you can get lots of different carving tools with different shaped nibs and, um, go all for it, or you can just go to the dollar store and find, these cheap carving tools. They work just fine. They may get dull. You may have to sharpen them, or, but it's okay. They're cutting this Christmas tree out just fine, and that was my goal. Now, I do have to change blades as I work here because I want to cut out the star on top of the tree, and that blade was not small enough. This happens to be a speedball uh, blade, and you can change those out of the handle. There's a little screw and a ring, and it drops in there, and I keep extras around. We're talking about sales from Arteza that are going on. If you use the link below the video here, it'll take you to Arteza. There's a bunch of affiliates in the description box, so if you like what you're seeing here and you're going to go Christmas shopping or personal shopping, whatever you want to do, use that link. You don't have to buy art supplies, but if you go use my link, then there's a little bit of kickback to my channel, and just helps out the artists here that are providing things on YouTube. So I'm just trimming this out. The You can leave a lot of that rough stuff around the edge if you like that look. If you don't, you can carve it all down so that it's smooth. I'm not going to fussy anything today. I'm just going to show you how this is done because it's an hour and a half show, and we only have so much time to create. And I want to show you how you can take the things that you have and make a very personal Christmas card, that you've spent your time on to create, and it's not, just a stamped or die cut image that is commercial and coming out from somebody else. This has your own hand to it, so very homespun Christmas type thing. So now I'm going to get some cardstock, and I'm going to get some Tombow brush markers. These are just water-based markers, and if you have any kind of water-based marker, you can use it for this. But what I do is I use those markers to colorize the Christmas tree. I use several different colors and blend it out because I don't want a tree that's just flat one color. I want it to, blend out into different shades and things. And I've put the darkest color out on the edge for shadow. And yeah, kind of botched the star, but that's okay. Then I mist in the air and make sure that stamp gets wet, and then I'm just going to blend a little bit with a brush to get rid of any marker lines. And there you can see we have our stamped Christmas tree image that is not just one color, it has multicolors on it. Now I'm going to do a little bit of gel printing. If you know anything about these plates come from GelPress, and they have a lot of different sizes. I like to work with these smaller ones when I'm doing cards. There's a couple of 3x5 and a 5x7, and I'm going to pull out some Deco Art paint. These are the Deco Art Premier, I think. What are they? Anyway, they're not the traditions. They're the better quality Deco Art paint, professional paint, because I think it works better on the gel plate than the traditions. And want some reds and greens, right? So I'm going to use some red. And I had done a stamp, the very first stamp, and of course I did it backwards. And so I can't just stamp that stamp, but it works just fine on a gel plate. And the first prompt was love for this month, so I'm stamping that love down on the gel plate, and I'm going to pick up the first layer of paint, and I'm leaving paint behind, which is what I want. I want to spritz that with a little water so that it stays moist. I'm going to get a stencil and pick up some of the red paint off of that plate, which is the 3x5, onto some painted paper. I had gel printed a couple of pieces the other day while I was, just hanging out talking to a friend. And so I'm going to, pull some of that paint through some stencils. These are Stencil Girl stencils that I love to use. That stencil was made by Laura Gergain, and my friend has that in her shop, which is What If NC. But, you can see that there's a lot of things here that can be pulled together from your art supplies. So I'm going to put away my carving things now and work on these backgrounds. So I'm just picking up what's wet off the plate. It's a little bit too wet, and it's just going to smear if I try to put another coat of paint over the top of that. I'm looking at this. I want to use up some of these Dina Wakley paints, but that one was too metallic. I wanted something flat. So I got this lime color, and I'm just going to put that down on the plate, and I'll end up picking that up with a piece of cardstock. And then I've got some left on my brayer, so let's just move it over to the other plate. I like to work back and forth like that. And then I'll take that other red piece and pick up the edge there so I don't get paint all over my hands. But you can see there's the print from that stamp. So I am just going to continue to play, finishing up these prints, and then I can put those gel plates aside and continue on with my card making. So these are just prints that are going to go into backgrounds, and then I cut down the little Christmas tree stamped image that we carved earlier in the show, and now I'm printing off the last plate so I can move that off of my table and move on. I'm going to back these pieces with a piece of black paper because that really sets them off on your card front. So just remember that layers really enhance your cards. Trim those down, and then I'm going to go find some cardstock to make a card. So one of the things that I see trending now, which has been a long time favorite of mine, are the legal letter size cards. I'm not sure what they're calling them, long cards or whatever. But I've had these longer cards in my stash for years because I bought them from Judikins when I first started stamping. I just thought it was something different than the standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. So I'm going to just take my pen and write Happy Holidays on there, and put a place for that tree to sit, and just use my marker to decorate the tree. I got out a Posca pen. I'm showing him my poor tool that I broke. I didn't think I could break it, but I did. And gonna figure out where I want to put that stuff on the page. I'm going to get some ribbon and make a bow, and we'll finish this card out, and then we'll start on something else. So I'm looking around for my glue dots, don't find them, and I end up using some Aleene's tacky glue. This stuff has been around for a very, very, very long time. It's still one of the best inexpensive glues on the market. So if you're looking for something that works really well in craft projects, I would say consider the Aleene's. Now these are some cards that I put some paper on, and I'm playing with this washi tape that I had made. Not a real fan of it. Just don't like that glittery gold on there, so I'm going to rip that off, and I'm going to get some other cardstock. I thought, well, maybe I could change it. I didn't like the white, I didn't like the glittery gold, and I still didn't like it after I'd altered the color, so I'm going to get another piece of cardstock, and I'm going to change up what I'm doing here. So this is just some cardstock off of something from last year. I'm going to recycle that, put it down, get out my black pen, frame that out, because like I said, layers and frames make a big difference in your finished project. So can't draw a straight line to save my life. That's why I've got a ruler out. And we've got that much done. Now I've got this other stamp that I had carved. So I'm going to go back to creating stamped images, but I don't want to stamp that on white paper. It just wouldn't look right with this particular card. So I've got this craft colored card. Checking it out. I'm going to color it up just like we did before. Going to mist it with my water mister. And I do have those misters and things in my Amazon store. So if you follow the link to my Amazon store, I've got things broken out by category. Tools, inks, brushes, papers, all that kind of stuff. So taking that Tombow marker and just creating an edge on that piece of paper, border, 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 right? And now I'm going to see about putting some ribbon around as a band around the card. Just wrap it around and glue it down with that Aleene's. Hold that in place, and then I am going to get a pen and go around with the black and put my quote on there, Merry Christmas, and we will end up gluing that down to our card front to make another Christmas card. So let's see, we've got our backgrounds, we've got several things going here. Gel prints, I'm going to stamp that piece of just roll-off paper with some Distress Oxides with this new little Christmas tree stamp. I'm blending it out, using several different colors of the oxides. And it might actually look better on black. The distress oxides are really uh, opaque, and they work out really well on something like a black. But yeah, I didn't put it on the black, but I was just playing around. So here I'm showing the final results of the show today, and I hope you come and join us in Art Joy is Sharing. That's Facebook group Chelsea and I run, and happy holidays, everybody.